Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. And in this update, we are going to check out Polygon's price chart, and I'm going to tell you why Polygon might be at the moment doing something different than a lot of other altcoins, and it's actually quite a bullish thing. But before we get into all that and what is happening specifically in this area, let me tell you that no matter what is going to happen in the short term, one way or the other, we are extremely optimistic and bullish in Polygon. Why? First things first, I think starting from the lowest low down here about, let's say, the 16 cents area, we are having a clear cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up into a wave 1, followed by, now it's kind of confirmed that we are having an ABC zigzag into wave 2. I'm going to in a minute tell you why this is actually confirmed, and if this count is happening, what's next? You know the answer. We're gonna have a big move up into wave 3, 4, 5, and the reason for why I insist this move is going to be massive is because in terms of Elliott's waves, wave 3 is known to be quite a strong and sharp move on the up or maybe downside. So overall, we are looking very much bullish in Polygon, and even if we get a move down in the short term and we do something like this, it's not really going to change a whole lot. One way or the other, we are looking fantastic and great. And by the way, when you even go on some higher time frames, you realize that even on a higher degree, we are having a one correction for wave 2, and this can be, like we said it earlier, another one and a two, this time on a lower degree relative to this one. And again, once more, this scenario suggests soon in Polygon, I'm gonna say probably in the next couple of months, we are going to have some very much exciting price action. So overall, we're looking great. Now let's go on some lower time frames and see what is happening. So if you remember, the last time that we talked about Polygon, we were, I think, right in here, and the idea was that we are actually able to find a complete 5 wave on the upside in this phase, and followed by that, odds are we are having a consolidation pattern, a correction structure, and we said we may go like a bit lower, but then after it, I'm actually counting on yet another move on the upside. And why was that? You see, it actually comes down to Elliott's waves and the fact that if you want to argue that we have hit our final low, you need to be able to find off of the lowest low, let's say in this region, even a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave. This specific example is called an impulsive structure. Rules for it are we should not have overlapping of the waves between wave 2 and 4, and in any kind of 5 wave, wave 3 is simply not allowed to be the smallest wave. And in terms of the sub waves, you probably know the story in case that you are a regular viewer of the channel. And by the way, one of you guys in the comments said that I speak way too fast, so I'm going to try at least to talk slower. This is going to take a bit of time, bear with me. For our corrections, for wave 2 and 4, we can have different scenarios. Let's say, sure, WXY into wave 4 and then ABC into wave 2. And this, my friends, was the exact reason for why we said in Polygon, there's a very high chance soon we're going to see another move up, because on a higher degree, this was to me a wave 1 followed by an ABC into wave 2, a strong 5 wave up, which, like we said that earlier, is a very important characteristic of a wave 3, followed by that. Now I'm going to argue this was probably a WXY, either a flattened zigzag or preferably, yes, I think it was a double zigzag into wave 4. And the question is, can you argue this is another move up into wave 5? Because basically every single thing that we said in the previous video played out. So makes sense to argue that this is actually a beautiful 5 wave, and since we clearly do not have overlapping of the waves between wave 2 and 4, this is like the perfect scenario, right? Well, there is actually a bit of a problem in here, and this, in my view, is why Polygon might be doing at the moment something different. Let's go on 15-minute time frame. Okay, if you remember, earlier we said for wave 1, 3, and 5, we have to be able to find, in terms of subwaves, 5 waves on the upside, and for wave 1 and 3 in this scenario, finding 5 wave is very much easy. But what about our wave 5? Because I think this structure looks a hell of a lot like an ABC zigzag and not a 5 wave. And I'm not going to say that like finding a 5 wave in here is like absolutely impossible. No, that's not the case. It is possible to find a 5 wave. For example, I guess you can argue maybe this is one. This is wave 2. to about this point can be the end of our wave 3, followed by a triangle into wave 4, another move up into wave 5. This scenario is possible, but here is what I have to say. The shape of this 5 wave, from my POV at least, looks so odd to a degree that is going to make me say, you know what, maybe this shouldn't be my primary case. So what is it that I'm trying to tell you? I'm trying to say, look, in Polygon, there's actually a chance that a correction started from this high and the end of it can be right in here, maybe even a bit lower into this whole wave 4. And after our wave 4 is over, what are we going to have? You guessed that right, yet another strong move up into wave 5. And this is the main difference between Polygon at the moment and a lot of other altcoins. In most alts, we have already completed a 5 wave, but in Polygon, it seems like that may not be necessarily the case. Now, for our correction for wave 4, I think we are allowed to consider the possibility of having either an ABC running flat or maybe even an expanded flat, which looks like this. This is our initial move down into a correction for wave B, which in it we are going to take this initial high and then another move down into wave C. And pay attention, if for our C leg we are not going to take the low of our wave A, this pattern is called an ABC running flat. If we are going to take it, on the other hand, it's called an expanded flat. Nonetheless, the subwaves are basically the same. ABC down into A, ABC, or maybe a WXY. Honestly, from my POV, doesn't really matter a whole lot. Into wave B, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down into C. Now let's go on the live chart and count some waves. So you see, if you don't want to consider this thing as a WXY, you are also sort of kind of able to identify an ABC zigzag in here. If you want to say that maybe we're not really having a strong overlapping of the waves between this move up and this one. If you want to say this is an ABC zigzag, then okay, we said it earlier, this is also an ABC up. And are we able to find a complete 5 wave from here to about this point? The answer is yes. But here is a scenario that I like a bit more. Let's just do this. Okay. Do not get me wrong. I do believe to about this point we are having a wave 1 followed by a correction for wave 2. But I'm going to say this was our wave 3. And probably from this point to somewhere around the recent price action, maybe even a bit higher, we are having a correction for 4. And what's next? Maybe in the next, I'm going to say probably 24 to about 48 hours, yet another small move down into wave 5. And at that point, I'm really hoping that the subwaves for this whole ABC flat is going to be complete. And then what's next? Another very strong move up in form of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave impulsive structure. So what's the conclusion in here? You see, in Polygon, in my view, we are looking one way or the other in the midterm extremely bullish. Also in the short term, since we are having 5 wave up into a wave 1, correction for wave 2. And by the way, I actually forgot to tell you, this ABC recently got confirmed. The moment that in this phase up, number 1, we were able to find beautiful structures for an impulse, and number 2, we took the height of our B leg right in here. So I'm gonna say this is 1, this is 2, and then we're gonna have massive move up into wave 3 and 4 and 5. And by the first target, just for our wave 3, I think we can reach to about the higher band of this region, about, let's say, 33 cents area, but most likely we are going to go quite a bit higher than that. So the overall possibility in Matic is absolutely bullish. But whether in the short term we have hit our final low or not, and for example, whether we are setting up for another, I don't know, let's say like 5 to 10% move down or not, you know what, that can be up for debate. But I need you to remember, even if we go down in here, it's not going to be a bad sign at all. It's just all part of the bullish process. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in Polygon. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member of my main channel and ask me anything you want. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.